Hi, this is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. In this lesson I'm going to show you how to play the bass line from Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. The bass player from Dire Straits was John Illsley, and he's very underrated in my opinion. Although he might not be considered as a most adventurous type of player, his bass lines to me are really solid and suit the song really well and provide a really good backbone. This bass line is a really good example of John's playing, really solid bass line that locks in perfectly with the rhythm guitar and the drum patterns. You'll also get to practice your ghost notes or muted notes, as these are used a lot throughout the bass line, and I'll show you how to play these if you don't know. As always, you can download a PDF of this lesson by clicking the link in the description below this video. If you're viewing this video on my website, then click the YouTube logo which is in the bottom right hand side of the video. That will take you onto YouTube, and then you can have a look at the description. On that PDF I've written out the whole bass line, and also I've written tab as well for those of you that need it. Remember, if you haven't already, to subscribe to Greg's Bass Shed here on YouTube, and I hope you enjoy the lesson. It's a really cracking bass line. To show you the bass line, I'm going to divide this lesson into 4 parts. We're going to cover the intro, the verse, the guitar riff, the famous guitar riff, and then the last 4 bars, which are slightly different and they go round and round and round to fade out. So I'll look at the 4 parts. First of all, I'll play you the intro, which is based around a D minor chord. Start with your little finger on the 5th fret of the A string, the D there. For this section, the bass mainly plays on 1 and 3, also with 8th notes on 2 and 4 and that's a classic rock feel. And you'll notice if you look at the PDF that you've got muted notes for the 2 and the 4 and. So we're going to play that, so we hold our hand lightly over the fret. So we hold it down fully for the first note and then lightly. And that gives a more rhythmic feel to the bass line. So these are muted notes or ghost notes. The first 2 measures go like this. So you've got that C, A, C, D at the end, so C, A, C, D. So with me, 3, 4. Now it might take you a while to incorporate these muted notes into your bass lines, so if you're having trouble, then just play on the D a normal note, and then a muted note, and then a normal note. Playing that pattern just on the D, and when you're comfortable, at the end of the 4th measure we've got a slightly different rhythm. So it goes to the D and then C, A. And then for the next 2 measures and the 2 measures after that, it's the same as the first pattern. So the whole of that intro with me, 3, 4. And that's the intro. Now we move on to the verse. Now sometimes this is 18 bars and sometimes it's 20 bars. So for 20 bars you've got this extra little tag repeated at the end. So I'll play you a version of the verse now. play the verse, we start with our little finger on D again, so the 5th fret of the A string. So what that is, that's a measure of D minor, half a measure of C, half a measure of B flat, and then 2 measures of A. So we've got D, 5th fret of the A string, then it goes down to C, 3rd fret of the A string, B flat, 6th fret of the E string, and then A, 5th fret of the E string. So with me, that first bit of the verse, 3, 4. C, D, so we've got a C at the end. So again, this is that classic sort of rock feel on 1 and 3 with the 2 and the 4 and as 8th notes. And the second time we play those 4 measures, if you see on the PDF, we play the A and then D, and then we're going to go up to an F. So instead of playing the C, we play D. So the second time round on that section, D, and then we go up to an F. And for this section, we've got 2 measures of F, then 2 measures of C, then 2 measures of B flat, and then we got to D minor, C, D minor, B flat. For that section that starts on F, we've got some different rhythms in here. We've got this kind of pushed rhythm. Okay, so we've got F, C, D, F, B flat, G, C. So still that pushed rhythm. Okay, so it changes when you get to that, the 3rd measure of that section, the C. It's still the push section, but you've got 2 8th notes. So we'll look at that D minor bit in a minute. So I play these A's, I play as open, so we can, because we're down here playing for the B flat. So I play G open, C open, and then B flat. And then this D minor here, B flat. And then the version of the verse that's 20 bars long goes so you've got extra C's and B flats in it. So with me, if we play the whole of the verse, so again, you can get this PDF below in the description, so it will probably help if you have that, and that's got tab on as well if you're struggling to read the music quickly. So we do the whole of the verse, so that's verse 1, 3, 4. So that's the whole of the verse. Now we look at what we're playing underneath the guitar riff. Now this is probably the most recognisable, famous part of the song. The riff is based around D minor, B flat and 2 bars of C. And the B flat is a push, which means we play it on 3 ands. So we play it right at the end of the first bar, leading into the second bar. That's called a push. So we start on the D again, little finger. So that's leading down to the B flat, D, 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 C, B flat, and and that's the push. If it wasn't a push, it would be... Okay, so... And then on the B flat after the push. And what we do on that muted note, on the last note, we move our hand along so we can play our first finger on C. So... And that's a muted note, obviously, so we just lightly play it on the 3rd fret. So we've got B flat, F, G, B flat, G muted note, and then C. So those first 2 measures, 3, 4. Okay, 3, 4. Okay, then we've got the C. So C, C, A, G, C, C, A, C, and back to the D again. So I'll play that round around a few times. So try that with me. 3, 4. Okay, when you play these muted notes, you can mix it up a bit. You can play some muted, some not, wherever you feel really. There's not really a rule, but it makes it sound a bit more rhythmic when you have the muted notes or the ghost notes in. Okay, work your way through the PDF and you'll see different verses and the guitar riffs. The guitar riff stays the same and the verses change slightly, just to different muted notes or slightly different rhythms. But basically you could play the first or second verse over the rest of the song, over the rest of the verses, and it would all work. So they're all little just subtleties really that I've written out. If you look at the end of the PDF, we've got these last 4 bars that repeat round and round and round. And again, they're on D minor, B flat and C, but there's some slightly different notes. So I'll play that for you now so you can listen. There's 2 sensible ways to play this riff really. You can either play it, so you start with your first finger on D, 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 A, G, F, B flat, and then jump down. Or you can start with your little finger on D, I find it a bit easier to start with my first finger on D. So we'll try that one. So first finger on D, and then 3rd on A on the D string, G first, 4th on F, and 2nd on B flat. 3, 4. Again, 3, 4. Once more, 3, 4. And go on. Okay, so that's just round and round that section. Well, that should give you enough to work through the whole song yourself. I've given you the bones of the bass line with the intro, the verse, the guitar riff, and that end bit. And underneath the solos is roughly the same as the guitar riff. So obviously get the PDF if you haven't got that already. It's got a tab on that. You can get that by clicking the link in the description below. Work your way through the PDF and you'll be able to play the whole bass line. Remember to subscribe to Greg's Bass Shed here on YouTube. You'll be then notified of all my new lessons, and I upload a lesson every Friday at midday. You can also have a look at my website, gregsbassshed.com. I've got lots of extra resources on there and things for you to practice to improve your bass playing. Again, if you look in the description below, it's got all the links there. It's got links to my Instagram, Facebook, website, the free PDF, etc, etc, and there's more information in there. As always, you can get my help if you need it by writing a comment below this video, or if you have a look at my website, there's a contact page and you can email me through that. I'm more than happy to help you. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. It's a fantastic bass line and a great song, a really iconic song. If you liked it, please like and share this video, and that will really help me out. This is Greg from Greg's Bass Shed. See you in the next video.